I'd like to call tonight's Town of Pompey Planning Board meeting for Monday, May 18th, 2020. A little bit late, but I think we've got everybody here that is participating in the meeting. This meeting is being held via Zoom, and this is a response to the ongoing COVID-19 public health emergency. Governor Cuomo signed an executive order 202.1, which allows for meetings of public bodies to be held remotely by conference call or similar services, provided that the public has the ability to view or listen to the proceedings and that the meetings are recorded and later transcribed. Thus, we are meeting tonight via Zoom. It is being recorded and live streamed on the Town of Pompey Facebook page. At this point, I'd like to have a roll call, and as I call your name, please say hello, you're here, and give a wave also, please. I will start. Sue Smith. Dan Bargabas.
I am here.
Carl Falkenrug.
I am here.
Kevin Corson. I will start.
I am here.
John Shaheen.
Aye.
Hey, good.
Roy Smith.
Here.
Steve Snell.
Here.
Jamie Sutphin. Donna Allnut.
Here.
Bob Rodriguez.
Here.
Okay, can barely hear you, Bob. Okay. We do have our host, which has been helping us out run this, Veronica Hoteling. Also, for our two topics that we have tonight, there should be Chris Fisher.
Present.
And Jim France.
Present.
Okay, and okay, through the phone, we had Dave Bravo.
Dave.
I'm here.
Okay, and Karen Koenig. That's the one that it says that she's on, but some reason I'm not hearing her. So, from here, I would like to ask everyone, well, actually, let's back up. Is there anybody on here that I did not call? Okay, hearing none. That's a good thing, I guess. I would like to ask for a moment of silence. This past weekend, a longtime Pompey resident and former town supervisor, Frank Valletta, has passed away, and I'd like to ask a moment of silence to remember Frank. So if we could do that. And thank you. Moving on to our meeting minutes. Our last meeting was on February 27th, 2020. Everyone we were issued a draft of the board minutes, and there has been a corrected draft. Donna had resent those out. I do note one typo correction on page 2, that the word zone should be changed to zone change request. Other than that, are there any other corrections to be made?
No.
And if none, I look for a motion to approve the corrected minutes.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, if you could repeat your names, just to make sure we got them.
John Shaheen is making a motion.
Kevin Corson is seconding the motion.
Okay. Further discussion? Hearing none, please say aye if you are in favor of accepting the corrected minutes.
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. From here on our agenda this evening, the first topic, we have a Salt Point Rentals LLC. The parcel that's being presented is tax map number 005.06-18.1. It's at 8710 Cazenovia Road, Manlius, New York. This is a preliminary review of a 2-lot subdivision. A little bit of background on this is that they have come to our board before, and the town board had asked the planning board for a recommendation. It is currently zoned farm, and the request is going for a zone change to a hamlet commercial. The town board has a public hearing scheduled on this request for their next meeting on June 1st, 2020. And the applicant is asking for a subdivision into a 2-lot parcel now. And in front of us on the screen is their proposed subdivision. From that, I can ask Chris or Jim to speak up more for what I haven't covered already.
Right. Thank you, Chairman Smith. As you guys know, we've been in front of you a few times before, and as well as the town board, and we have listened to both the planning board and the town board's concerns. And as a result, that's why we're coming back to you with a proposed subdivision application. So what we've done, again, we've listened to what everybody has suggested. We have, it's not exactly in half, but we have basically split the parcel almost in half. What we're proposing is that the lot that contains the buildings and that we are going to apply for the zone change on is about 8.5 acres. The remaining lot is bigger. It's about 9.5 acres. And what you'll see is that the new lot, let's call it, which would remain under the farm zoning, has 200 feet of frontage on Cazenovia Road, and then proceeds down the property line and wraps around the back. And the reason we did that was very practical. As we've all discussed before with this property, there is significant wetlands in the back, both state and federal delineated wetlands. It didn't make a whole lot of sense to throw them in with the building lot because they have no development potential and would just, for lack of a better term, artificially inflate the acreage for that parcel with no benefit. So it made more sense after talking with the surveyor to split it up and include the wetlands with the vacant parcel. So the only thing that will remain with the building parcel is a good bit of frontage, the existing buildings, the existing pond that's in front of the building. So this will greatly reduce the portion of the lot that we will be seeking the zone change for. Does anybody have any questions or any thoughts? I know this may be the first time you've seen this map. Anybody have any questions or thoughts?
I think the surveyor did a great job in setting aside the wetlands. I think it's very well done.
And the other practical concern, which is none of your concern, but is a concern of ours, is obviously we want to, since the applicant is going to be getting a mortgage on the building lot, we're trying to keep the exposure to a potential flood zone designation as far away as we can, so as not have to purchase flood insurance for a portion of the property that no one's going to use. So it's easier to put it onto that vacant parcel.
So what are the road frontage sizes for the two lots?
The proposed vacant lot is going to have a 200-foot frontage on the road, which is the minimum required in a farm zoning district for a residential property, which is probably the most likely long-term use for that property. And then the remaining frontage looks about 432 feet for the building lot.
Okay.
In total, I think it's about 936 in total.
34.
Or 34, yes, 934 feet road frontage. Chris, I do have one topic on this map, that the lots, however they end up, if it's this or whatever, that they do need to have numbers with them. And for specifically Jamie's benefit, off this lot, there was a subdivision just to the east of that parcel with the 200 feet road frontage.
Correct.
That off. I want to make sure that the lot numbering off of this, because originally it was all one parcel, and I want to make sure that the lot numbers are correctly numbered.
Yeah, and Jamie can maybe weigh in on this. My experience is usually, and those street numbers are issued actually by the 911 center. And my experience is usually they will not issue a number until it's subdivided. But I can inquire and see if we could get a tentative or road frontage number for that new lot.
Not a 911 number, not a house number, but just the lot number on the map.
Oh, you mean lot 1, lot 2?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, we can add that to the map. For our purposes, the building lot will be lot 1, the vacant lot will be lot 2.
Does anybody else on the board know what I'm getting at that? That Linwood Sterrett's house, when that was subdivided off?
Yeah, that's news to me. Dan Bargabas.
Yeah, remember the house, that property owner just to the east there, Linwood Sterrett, that we just subdivided off within the last year, I think.
Yes, yes. I
And-
remember, yeah.
Yeah, so at that point, the entire parcel went into lot 1 and lot 2. And I don't know if there's got to be like a 1A or something, or a 2A or something like that. But anyway, we can look into that, and I'll get back to you on that, Chris.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Okay.
And just to further complicate matters, just so we're all on the same page, I have not gotten a straight answer from the seller's attorney whether that map has actually been filed with the county. So I don't know if that may further complicate things at the county level, but we've been urging them to file that if they haven't. And again, unfortunately, I haven't gotten a straight answer whether it's been filed or not, because that was approved back in maybe late summer, early fall, if I remember right.
Yeah.
Is it divided off of this parcel?
Correct.
Yep.
If you're looking at the subdivision map, Jamie, there is a parcel would be further to the right that was also part of this original property. It had a house on it. They built a house, then they subdivided it off. So it's just a house parcel. So this is,
I get it. So
Okay.
that's really going to have to be a condition of this, because it won't work for town purposes, right? Or
I
tax
agree.
purposes.
I agree. That's something we've been wrestling with, and I don't know if the COVID issue has weighed into this or not, but I need to push that again, that for them to file the map.
Was there a
It
time
hasn't
limit
been.
filing the map?
I think it's a year, isn't it?
There's various timeframes, but if we're okay with it, we could always reapprove it if need be, and the county doesn't care. They'll take the map when, as long as it's signed. So I'm not too concerned about that, but it will need to be filed, or this isn't going to work at all.
Right.
Sue, you
Yeah.
signed all those maps, correct?
I thought I did.
Yeah.
So I have tried to file a map during this COVID time. It is very challenging. However, it can be done, and there's ways to do it. And Chris, we can talk about that.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so we know that that's one issue that we do have to get settled fairly quickly. I guess the board, what do you have on thoughts on how this looks? I guess my concern would be that for the 9 acre, the larger one with the 200 feet road frontage, that is there sufficient that somebody bought it to put a residence on, that there's enough room to work with that? And then as far as septic and well, knowing the wetlands right behind it. So just food for thought, discussion point.
And to touch on that, keep in mind that this was not the original plan. So as of right now, there is absolutely no intent to build a house on there. The most practical use at some point in the future would be to have that as a building lot, but that's absolutely not the focus. So obviously we haven't explored potential siting of a house on the site and well and septic and stuff like that.
And also, Sue, as we'll see in our next application, there are certainly creative ways of putting in treatment systems.
Yeah, true.
So I don't think that's an issue. I think that's a non-issue. I think they did a very good job of dividing this up. I think that was very creative.
Okay. Anybody else? Planning board comments?
I agree.
So we would just respectfully request that the board schedule this for a public hearing at its June meeting. We have notices ready to go out to all of the neighbors. 2 notices that were going to go in the same envelope. One notifying of the town board the town board public hearing on the zone change, and then the second separate notice to go out in the same envelope for the planning board public hearing if the board elects to proceed that way.
Do we need to make a motion on that point, or does that have to be in the record that we're going to approve this to move forward?
Jamie?
What's the question?
The question is, do we need to make a motion and put it on the record that the planning board is approving putting this on our agenda for public hearing the next time we meet? Because there hasn't been the zone change yet, so really it's not in front of us.
I think you don't have to wait for the zone change. That just happened. In fact, this could go forward without the zone change. So we can call for the public hearing now.
Yeah.
If the zone
Okay.
change doesn't happen, they may still want the subdivision or not. So I would go ahead and just call for the public hearing now.
Right, but do we need to make a motion and vote on that?
No.
Yes, that there be
Yeah,
a public
okay.
hearing. Mhm.
All
Really?
right, then I'll make a motion that we schedule a public hearing at our June meeting for the Linwood Starrett Farm subdivision.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Kevin and second by John.
Right.
Okay. For public hearing at our June 15th, 2020 Planning Board meeting for a 2-lot subdivision. Any discussion? And hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. So the Linwood Sterrett Farm subdivision, 2-lot subdivision will be scheduled for public hearing June 15th, 2020. Meeting scheduled to begin at 7 p.m.
Thank you, and we will have the surveyor update the map, same map, but we'll have it updated so it'll be clearly say lot 1, lot 2. For the
Okay.
board's benefit.
And I think going with that, though, is we need the question answered on the other map to make sure that it was filed and make sure that we got the lot numbers in agreement.
Right,
So-
I will confirm that and let you know.
Okay,
Although that's not this applicant's responsibility.
no, but somewhere we've got to find out. And
Yeah, that really is our responsibility. It's not the present applicant's responsibility for something that is out of his purview.
But it's still a practical concern on our end, just so you know.
Yes.
So we've been.
Well, I would beg to differ with that. It's going to be a requirement, I think, of the site plan. Otherwise, you don't have a map that makes sense. Sorry, I brought up the next application because I can only do so many things at once. But I think I think it has to be a condition. Otherwise, we're not going to have what you think you've got on lots.
Right, but the burden really is on the town because it's something we've approved previously. We should go to that applicant and push their attorney to move that forward. The burden should not be on the present applicant. It's outside their parameters. It's not part of their property. It's not part of their application.
Well, I agree with you, but it's also part of our purchase, even though
If
it's
you
not
want to
part.
do it, I'm fine with you doing it. I'm just saying it shouldn't be your burden.
All right, well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay.
But the question is we're not sure that this has been filed and separated and this is an individual parcel. It may still be part of his house. So we got to,
Right.
Right.
Same
Well,
seller.
Sue signed the maps.
I know, but they're not filed. So it hasn't happened.
Not done.
Yeah.
because we've had that happen
But
before.
we got to have proof that happened. Otherwise, this is a moot point.
Right. So
Yeah.
I'll pin that down. I'll pin that down with the Sterrett's attorney or their real estate agent. Both
Fair
of them
enough.
should know.
And maybe a little background, Bob Rodriguez, that this was a deal package done last year in 2019, so that file should be there in the office to pull out and see what we've got on the maps on that too.
I mean, a quick remedy would be just add the house to the map, and still do a 2-lot subdivision if he hasn't filed his map.
Well,
We'd have to
we
include the house.
wouldn't be pursuing this if that's not done. We're not buying.
Oh, because lot 1 is yours as well. You're buying lot 1 and 2.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah. So the lot we're talking about would be a off the map lot 3, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep. So, okay,
Well, what
Great.
time last year was that done? Phil?
okay. Thank you, Chris and Jim.
Thank you. Then we will. It's okay just to leave the meeting then.
As far as I'm concerned.
Okay. Great. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay,
Do you have
So-
an idea about what time that was done last year?
middle of the year, maybe? So the next on our agenda is Canary Housing at 7387 Academy Street in Pompey, New York, 13138. Tax map number 020.02-2.0, lot 65. And I do have little bit of background on this.
This is the 2,000-year-old building?
Going to give a brief update on this, and then for what I'm either missing or not clear on, that I'm going to turn it over a little bit to Jamie also on this. This has come back in for a reissue or a renewal of a building permit that was given a couple of years ago. And the applicant has done the right thing to come back and say, you know, I want to renew it and keep working on this. Due to an oversight, this is one building, but there was multiple units within it to be renovated and built. And it should have come back or been in for our review as a site plan at that point, and due to oversight, that did not happen. So at this point of the juncture, we are doing a site plan. This also, originally it came in as a 3-unit, and they have since decided or are being encouraged to make it a 4-unit building due to cash flow, money flow, et cetera, et cetera. A lot of this has to do with timing and so on. And in review, we also is a 3-unit dwelling. It still needs site plan, but everything on the lot size is fine. If it comes through as a 4-unit, it does need to go to ZBA for a variance. The footprint of the building, whether it's a 3-unit or 4-unit, does not change. It's the plan within that would be different. In terms of total site plan, yes, planning board has to look at other factors. You know, does that lot have the space, say for parking and proper ingress, egress, et cetera, among other things. So I apologize for the massive emails and trying to get this info to you, but it was late coming to us, but we are trying to work with the applicant best we can and get things going from here. So I guess with that, Jamie, do you have anything else to add to this?
I think you did a great job with that. Just why if they just were going to stick with the 3-family, we would just call for a public hearing because we're required to by site plan, and do your usual review for site plan. Because what they really would like is a 4-family, we're hearing that application simultaneously. However, that needs to go to the Zoning Board of Appeals, and here is why. Your code notes that minimum lot area for a multiple family, more than a 3-family, is 15,000 square feet per unit. And this would not meet that threshold. So that's a zoning board decision. You don't need to weigh in on it. But if we're going to do it, I had suggested that because, I mean, first of all, everything's been delayed because of what's going on in the world. But secondarily, our meetings, it's building season, right? So if it goes to the zoning board in June, and we would like the opportunity to hear it, you know, for site plan in June, we would call for 2 public hearings tonight, if that's the board's pleasure.
So I've got 2 questions. One, so currently this is being used as a 1-family?
They've been working on this for a couple of years, I believe, and either, actually, Dave or Karen, are you there?
David is here.
Okay, can, maybe,
Currently, it's not being, I mean, it's unoccupied at the present time. It's in the process of renovation.
Okay.
The existing structure has, you know, first floor, second floor, and a basement, and we designed one unit on the first floor and one unit on the second floor. Previously, it was a single-family house.
Okay. All right, and the second question is, if it goes to 4 units, how is that going to impact the septic system and what's shown here is a 3-car garage?
Well, I don't know if we actually would do a garage or not. The layout on the site plan is for Elgin units designed for an 8-bedroom structure. So we have the capacity for the 4 units, assuming the percolation comes in. Now, the percolation that I did in the existing field was pretty good. But I have to test exactly where we're putting this. So a little bit away, it's maybe 25 feet away from where I did the original perk test. I'm expecting it to be very similar. Does that answer your question?
Yes. Well, the other part of it was on the parking, how that's going to change if you go to 4 units.
The 4-unit proposal, the bank we've been working with to get financing, they recommended that we go to 4 units in order to make the finances work better.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the difficulties with this project is that you have existing, you know, the house is 100. It was built, I think, in 1853, and it's got most of the foundation is an old stone foundation, and at that height, you walk around in the basement and you hit your head on the rafters. So we are in the process of making a full-size basement in there, and we have to deal with the stone walls, foundations, and the fact that the building is out of level. It's 6 inches difference from one opposite corner to the other. So we've been trying to massage all that to make it a little better and strengthen it up. It's difficult working underneath a structure that's held up by a stone wall that might not be so solid. So I don't know if I'm answering your question.
So are you saying that you are doing this whether it's a 3 or a 4 family dwelling?
The shape of the structure is the same whether it's 3 or 4 units, because we're looking to have a unit. You know, we don't want a 2-level unit, we want a 1-level unit. So if we end up not being allowed to do 4 units and we have to go with 3 units, we'll have a basement underneath the 3rd unit. And we'll have to use more volunteer labor to make the money work.
so basically,
It's all volunteer as it is.
as the map that we're looking,
Karen's labor is all volunteer.
Okay, Dave, so I can maybe
My
help.
My motivation is the fact that my wife was diagnosed with chemical sensitivities about 38 years ago, just after we got married. And so we've worked to keep her safe on a site, a hillside site where the environment is good. And that's the value of this property, is that it's on a hillside and the air does not hang around. You know, wood smoke or car exhaust or fragrances from dryers don't sit there. They just keep moving away.
So a couple things to the planning board on this is, as I understand it, is Dave just touched on that a lot of the materials that they're using in this house, it's being built for chemically and environmentally sensitive people, so that is increase their costs a little bit. Now, in looking at this map that is in front of us, the section of the house where it says proposed addition, in the 3-unit, the first, well, across the first floor, there would be unit 1B, I guess.
Just
you'd call
pulled
it
up
there.
the floor plan.
Okay, all right.
So
So,
the existing structure would have a unit on the first floor and another unit on the second floor. The addition would have a unit on the first floor.
yeah, which is, we're looking at it, the addition area would be unit 1B. 1A would be in the original footprint, and then on the
That's
second
correct.
floor
Yeah.
is the, now the difference between what we're looking at and the 4-unit would
I
be,
just pulled up.
okay, so that's down in the basement essentially. That's the extra living space. So
Right.
the actual footprint wouldn't change. It's just whether the basement is built out.
Sue, can
The
I
footprint is
ask,
the same. It's whether or not we have a unit in the basement.
Right.
Sue,
Go
can I
ahead.
ask a question here?
Go ahead.
As I understand our role, we're doing site plan review, and I know we got this late in the game. And in my review of the application, there's a lot of extraneous information in there that really doesn't belong in site plan review, and as also seen in Steve's response, which he didn't have a lot of time to look at.
Right.
There's a lot of necessary information that's missing from the application for us to make a true site plan review of this site. And I certainly understand the need for volunteer labor and all that, but for us to do a site plan review, there's additional information we need. And in terms of the layout of the interior of the building, that really falls under the code enforcement officer's purview and not ours, as much as outside the building, the footprint, the parking, etc. So I just wanted to say that I don't want to get mired in issues that really aren't in our purview. So I know I made a mention of a 2,000-year-old building, but in the EAF, it says renovate a 2,000-year-old farmhouse that has been standing vacant for 4 apartments. And then it gets into a lot of detail about the purpose for that, but I think that's outside of our consideration. So I just want to be on the record for that.
ZBA may be interested in that kind of chatter.
Right. But for us, there's, as you see in Steve's email, more information, and John alluded to it also about parking and those sort of things to
Right.
make our decision. Anyway, just wanted to mention
Yep.
that.
Now, duly noted, Kevin, which I know the planning board got this. Dave and Karen, our town engineer, quickly looked over everything this afternoon And he did come up with a bullet list of items that are legitimate questions that would go with this. And I need to get, at least preliminarily, get this to you to get some answers on. Jamie, I sent that to you also, if you had a chance to look it over.
I did look it over, and I think that these are things that can, that we can keep it moving if this board is so inclined, and move to the public hearing. And, you know, within a week's time, let's get a revised plan. This is enough to call for a public hearing, doesn't have to be perfect. Start working on these things, pass it around, pass it on to Steve again. And, but I think at this point in tonight, it would be good if this board weighed in on some of those issues that they're most concerned with, so he can be sure to add them. And, you know, so this would be ready for an approval if that's feasible at the June meeting. The thing that strikes me is that it says future 3-car garage. And my question is this board interested in having that on the plan, or should we leave it out? Let's talk about where the parking is. And it also doesn't give us an elevation of that garage. So I wouldn't want it to be implied, I don't think, that this is approved. But if he comes back in the future, we'll be happy to look at it. But I think that probably should be removed from the plan. But that's discussion of this board.
Jamie, this is Kevin. I agree with you on the future 3-car garage. I'm not sure I agree with you on moving this forward as fast. I certainly don't want to delay the applicant, but one of the things we discussed is we do want to see applications presented to the planning board in the condition to be ruled on. And when I look at Steve's email, there is a lot missing on this that we would need to take time to look at. Circulation patterns, lighting, grading, landscaping, information on the survey, adjacent owners, zoning classification. I mean, there's just so much that's missing from the application. To ask the board to sort of hurry it along, I'd like to get that information as soon as possible, you know, so we're not rushed into something that maybe should have been presented to us quite a while ago. That's my piece.
This is John. On the parking though, I mean, as far as that future 3-car garage, if we're entertaining a 4-unit property here, then I would like to see either that garage expanded or something shown as far as what the parking, and as Steve indicated in his email, the circulation is going to be, to make sure you've got the setbacks in order to be able to do adequate parking for a 4-unit house, just things like that. And then, I mean, obviously, if it defers back to a 3-unit, we're fine. But I think we've got to address that parking and circulation.
I agree on that, John. That jumped out to me right away. Roy, Carl, what do you think?
Yeah, I have this is Roy. I have just one little concern, and I'm not sure it has anything to do with site plan, but there's, over the years, there's always been a water problem, not exterior, but water well problem as far as flow goes. And you're going from a 1-family place to either 3 or 4. And years ago, people got by with a lot less water. If their well would only put out a gallon or 2 a minute, they made do with it. But now things are a lot different. and with automatic washers and dishwashers and more showers than once a month and all that sort of thing. So I would just recommend that well, if they stick with that one that's on the map, have a flow test on it so that they don't get hung up on it with a water shortage. I know they used to bring water up to the school when a fire station there was a school. Had to bring a load up every day to keep things going. And the church down below there always had trouble. We finally got a good well out back, but it's just a thing that happens on that street. It's a hit and miss thing, I guess.
Dave, have you had the well assessed at all?
We've had the well tested. We've got, I think the guy's name is Shute. That's the well guy in Pompey.
Yeah, that's the
And
one.
he's working on the well. He's got a pressure tank set up, and it seems very good.
Do you have specific numbers on it?
The what?
Do you have any specific numbers on it yet?
Numbers? I don't
Right.
know. I don't know off the top of my head. He got a gallon per minute rating on it, and I think the biggest issue that I'm aware of is that the water is pretty hard, and that we might want to use a water softener.
So are you saying that there's adequate flow, or are you saying there's not adequate flow and you're going to use some sort of storage?
No, there's plenty of flow. I thought I heard 14 gallons a minute,
Wow. Okay.
but I'm not positive about that.
But you gotta,
He
how
was
long?
not concerned about the flow. I guess I can't answer that question in detail because I didn't talk to the well guy, but he was there and he did work on it, and he's in the process of installing the pressure tank.
Well, I know the Chutes real well. They've done a lot of work for us, but if you could just tell them that it's going to be 3 or 4 families, and I'm sure they can put a flow test on there and let you know if there's going to be enough water. It's just.
Well, I'm pretty sure he did a flow test. It's just that I don't know what the numbers are. I think Karen might know.
Can you get those for us and get a report from them or whatever and submit that to us so we've got it?
Yeah, we can get that.
All right. This is Carl. One of the questions that I have too is whether it's a 3-family or 4. Are there any requirements for changes for entryway or exits for fire or any of that kind of stuff?
That's a question to you, Dave. David, that's a question to you. Is there any differences in the entries and the exits, whether it's a 3 or 4 unit?
Are the entries any different? Is that what your question is?
Yeah, are there any requirement or different requirements for 3 versus 4 for fire or any other requirements?
Well, each unit's got to have 2 means of egress out of the unit, and they're there. They're there. Actually, the basement has 2 exits, and if it's a unit or not a unit, the exit is still there. And the second floor has a stair that comes down. Has 2 stairs that come down to the ground level. So there's the egress requirements are all there.
Okay.
Did you have another question, Carl?
not the second. It's, you know, flipping back and forth between the maps is a little tedious.
Yeah, yeah, I hear you.
Dave, this is John. Is that existing septic tank going to remain, or is that going to go away?
The what?
The existing septic tank?
Yeah, the existing septic field is not going to be used. We've already removed the existing septic tank. The existing septic field is it's too close to the neighbor's well. I mean, you need the 100-foot radius from the well with no septic field. I don't know why they put it in there. It could be that they just did it, or that the standards were different when it was built.
So that existing septic tank is not there any longer?
The existing septic field will not be used.
No,
No, not the existing field, the tank. You're showing an existing tank, and I thought you just said they pulled that.
There's two tanks.
existing tank is removed.
Yeah, the existing tank goes away. So it's a new tank and a new field.
Okay. So that existing tank is still there, though. But you're going to take it out or abandon it, or
Abandon what?
the existing septic tank?
Yeah, it's gone.
It is gone?
Yes, yes.
Well, I think it is gone, yeah.
All right, so my
And the
point
pump's
is,
been removed.
if it's been removed, it shouldn't be shown on the map.
Well, when I drew the map, it was there,
Okay,
but I'll take it away.
all right.
Or I'll say remove.
That's silly.
Or,
Right, Dave, just simplify it, Dave, just take it out of there.
Okay,
yep, okay.
no problem. And I'll take away the field too.
And same thing with the future three-car garage, take that off there too, please.
Okay,
Okay, Dan
I can do
Bargett,
that.
Dan
Yeah,
Bargett,
well,
you got
so,
anything?
yeah, does the health department have some regulations on wells and septics for 4-unit apartment complexes? Do they weigh in on this project?
We have this septic system has been approved by the health department. We just have to confirm the percolation rate.
So it's been approved for a 4-unit apartment.
I didn't understand the question.
It's been approved for a 4-unit apartment.
That's an interesting question.
Okay, Dan,
And
for some reason, Bob, we can barely hear you. So if you could.
Yep.
Say that a little bit louder so Dan can hear you.
Long ways away.
Go ahead, Dave.
all right, what question am I addressing?
Well, Bob answered it. Bob, you said you've looked at it and the septic design is designed for 4 units, correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay, and so the well has got to be pre-approved, or has got to meet certain requirements, I would imagine, for a 4-unit apartment? If it's going to be one well serving 4 units?
Either Bob or Jamie, can you answer that?
Looking at the number of bedrooms, the size of the septic tank, the percolation rate, and the size of the field. That's what they look at.
Septic.
So I think, that Dave, what they're saying is, can you bring us proof that the health department has approved this septic for the 3 and the 4 family
And the well.
and the well? I don't know that the health department weighs in on the
Yeah,
well.
I don't think the health department will weigh in they might weigh in on the quality of the water.
And all the way in the
But
back.
don't you need to have certain flow for a 4-unit apartment or certain size, capacity, volume?
Well, I think the bank may weigh in more than the health department.
Yeah,
One's a manila folder and then one's a manila envelope.
yeah, the bank's gonna want to know that for financing purposes, I would think.
Yeah.
Well, for a single family house, but you know, when you're doing a rental property, it seems like you'd want more information.
I guess, and back
Well,
to
now's the time to ask, I guess.
yeah, let's get that information, please.
Yeah, I think Dave said he would get us that report from Shoots.
Yeah, but what do we know is appropriate, I guess, John? I don't know what is the appropriate amount of flow and volume for a 4-unit apartment.
Do you know that, Steve? Or can you weigh in on that?
Not offhand, I don't know.
But I mean, is that something you would typically take a look
I mean,
at?
I could if they give me what they're getting, yes. But I mean, to evaluate the well, I mean, I don't know anything about how it was constructed, the depth, water. I don't know any. I
Well,
probably
you
don't
have
have
to get a
enough
well
information.
Right. I
Huh?
mean, you get a well report that it's going to tell you it's got so many gallons of storage. It produces water at, he says, 15 gallons per minute. We'd need to know for how long. And then, but again,
But that's
we're
really
back.
not something we normally would review.
Shoots can give us that
It seems like
information.
somebody would review it, but
Seems like it.
some entity.
Yeah, it would seem.
It doesn't affect the public at all. It affects the private owner of the building. I
Right.
mean, they have to confirm it. If they can't get water, I mean, that's not the town engineer isn't going to weigh in whether or not that well runs dry, and then it's great now, and then it runs dry at a certain point during the year.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not something the town is going to be
Well,
weighing in on. You know,
Say for single family, that's fine, but for a rental property, when you have renters coming in and then their wells run dry, I guess it's a private well, so you have to take it up to the landlord, not us.
There
Yeah,
may be a state
I think-
regulation.
I think we ask the health department to weigh in on the well. I think that's what we'd ask for.
Weighed in on this and all.
So you keep thinking that this is a rental apartment and there's a landlord. Actually, this is more of a cooperative and the
Holy
residents
shit.
will be owners. I don't know if that makes a difference to you, but that's the way we're envisioning it.
Explain that a little bit more to us, Dave? Dave, this is Stu. Can you explain that last statement a little bit more for us? When you say cooperative and it's different?
Now, this is more Karen's area, but basically, the purpose of our Canary Housing nonprofit is to provide housing for people that are chemically and electrically sensitive. And a lot of landlords don't care about those issues, and we care about them very much. And so our purpose is to look out for the interests of people that are chemically sensitive and electrically sensitive and provide them with a living unit that is safe for them. And there's a lot that goes into that. And part of the thing that we're looking at is that these people would be long-term residents and that they would, the financial thing is set up where they would be actually buying their units. And I don't know all the details of how that works. Karen is the one that understands that setup. I don't know if I've made it any, but the point is it's not a typical landlord-tenant situation.
But there are still either 3 or 4 units that there will be people living there, and they will still be washing dishes, taking showers. I didn't look, are there laundry rooms or whatever? There's still water consumption. It's whether,
That's correct, and that's regardless of the legalities or the arrangements of the ownership or the tenancy or anything like that. You're still using water and washing dishes. Yes, that's correct.
okay. As I asked before, get in touch with Schutz, and if you would get their statement of that well, what they tested and its production and anything and everything that they know about it, if you could get that in black and white and get that submitted to us, we would appreciate that.
Sue, does the
Okay.
applicant have a copy of Steve's letter?
He does not at this point.
All right, so he'll need that. And this,
Yep.
this hasn't gone to the county yet, has it?
Correct, it needs to go to count. Yeah, site plan, yes.
Right, so to set up a public hearing, it's probably premature to do that?
I know for county comment, things have to be submitted by May 29th, and their next meeting is June 10th. So basically to have it submitted, let's just see, 18th. If we were missing information, I'd like it within 1 week so we can finish getting the package together to get it to county in time.
Well, not if we're
But-
missing. We already identified what we are missing, so that would all need to be changed and the map would need to be redone before this could be submitted to the county.
And I believe, Dave, you're the one that drew these up? David?
Are you asking me a question?
Yes, I am. Are you the one that drew up these maps?
Yes, I'm the architect that drew the plans.
So any changes to the maps you could get done and back into the town of Pompey, say by Friday?
I did not understand your question. I'm getting broken conversation here.
Okay, can you help us out, Bob? And can he hear you better than us?
She wants to know if you can get them, get the updated drawings back to them by Friday.
So that we can get the package together to get it to county, to get it, everything back.
I can do updated drawings, and if I can get a list of the things, the items that you're looking for me to add into the drawings.
Okay,
So,
Yes.
I have a letter here dated September 4th from Onondaga County Health Department, approving the plans for the 7-bedroom septic system.
okay.
7-bedroom,
Yeah,
but doesn't talk about multiple apartments, just 7 bedrooms in a single-family house?
that's all, that's what it calls for, yes.
I believe that that's how the,
They don't make a distinction about how many units there are.
Right.
They just go, they size systems by the number of bedrooms.
Okay, that's fine.
But I've got the letter here as part of the package they submitted me at the, with the building permit.
In your designs, David, does each unit have 2 bedrooms?
David, does each unit have 2 bedrooms? Is designed for 2 bedrooms or?
Yes, each unit is designed with 2 bedrooms. Usually, well, as an example, my wife and I have a 4-bedroom house, I guess it is. We have 3 bedrooms on our main floor. My wife uses 2 of them, and I have 1. We sleep separately because she has different needs and her calendar is different and it just works out better. And then she has one room that she just sleeps in, and then the other bedroom is used for her work area and office and that sort of thing. And then I have an office.
All right, Bob, so I think I heard you say, though, the Department of Health approved 7 bedrooms?
Well, the letter itself does not specify 7 or 8, but then I'm reading on the drawing here on the stamped drawings that it's septic system, general notes, house 8-bedroom, design flow 880 gallons per day.
Okay, so they do reference 8 bed, the Department of Health approval somehow references 8 bedrooms? Either through an attached drawing or something?
Well, that's on the ST1 drawing that that we're looking at a minute ago. That's for the septic plan.
Yep. On that map, topic number 4, and it does say 8-bedroom equals 880 gallon per day.
Right. On the letter from the health department,
It does, it's just about what we use in Florida.
What was that, Bob?
on the letter from the health department, it does not specify 7 or 8 bedroom.
Okay, I thought I heard you
It just says the replace of the sewer disposal system servicing the above reference building as per plan submitted by Cornerstone and accepted by this office on September 4th, 2019.
Okay.
Jamie, a question for you. The applicant has, in the whole application has identified the 4 apartment structure. So since that would need a zone change, can we still send that to county as it wouldn't meet the zoning requirements if we send it to county?
The applicant should do their zoning board application as well. And then it can all go to the county. So then it would be fine.
All right, so is that application done, do we know?
I haven't seen
Which
it.
application are you talking about?
For the zoning department? Or,
Yeah, the
I
app-
got a blank one sitting here in front of me, so I'm getting ready to fill it out.
So that would be part of what we would need by Friday in order to get this all off to the county.
that's it, Dave?
Is that question addressed to me? Because I didn't hear it.
Yes.
The voice that I hear well is yours, Bob, and the other voices are really choppy.
Jamie,
What's the question?
So we would need the zoning board application as well. If we're going to try to get everything off to the county by Friday, that's part of what we need.
Okay, well, I can get it together tomorrow.
Okay.
Zoning Board of
There are, Sue, there are fees associated with these various applications, correct? I don't know what they are.
Yeah. Bob, if you want to enter on that one.
gee, thanks.
Yeah. I don't do money.
I collected the initial fee of $115 for this to try to help this process out. I did not know what the fees were. So I told them there would be additional fees coming down there would be additional fees on the road. But at that time, I did not know what they are. They know they've got additional fees. we don't,
I will work on that with you then tomorrow, Bob, so we can let the applicant know.
that's something that Renee needs to be involved in because she was gonna work on that.
Okay, we'll work on it.
Okay.
We'll get him that information.
The other thing I think that needs cleaning up, this is Kevin again, is the brief description of the proposed action on the EAF. That needs to be fixed. It's got a lot of extraneous information. It's not a 2,000-year-old farmhouse, et cetera, et cetera. So that should be reviewed before that goes forward.
Steve, would you have comments on that?
Yeah, you're right. It's not a 2,000.
But it talks about a shed that's needed, and I don't see, is the shed on the drawings? You know, it talks about things that really aren't applicable to an EAF, new windows and other things. So I think that the description needs to be pared down quite a bit.
Okay.
Steve, do you think you
Yes.
could review that? Thank you, and let the applicant know.
The EAF you're referring to, Jamie?
The environmentally sensitive people, is that what you're telling me?
The brief description, Steve, on the EAF.
Yeah, I can review the EAF. I just
Okay,
saw
so
the one, I provided
Yeah.
one comment on it because the site disturbance, because that just jumped out at me, but I can review the rest of it in detail if you'd like. Sure.
Yeah, the biggest thing, Steve, is the lengthy verbiage that he wrote for a brief description. That should be consolidated and made more applicable than what's there.
And we're talking about the application for the 4-unit? Or the 3?
Correct.
Well, three or four,
Both, really.
they were verbatim to each other, just the only
Yeah.
thing, one said 3 and one said 4.
I'm struggling to understand the question, and I think what would be most helpful is to have written comments about what information you need or what things you'd like us to provide you. And if I have that, I can deal with it tomorrow.
Jamie, can I meet with you tomorrow morning and discuss this, and we'll get a bullet list for him?
Yeah, I'd like Steve to be on that call as well.
Okay. Is there,
And, you know, who's
go ahead.
ever been taking notes, and we'll go through our various notes and recollections and try to get it all on a document.
Okay. All right.
New attorney.
Steve and Jamie, is there a time that works for you in the morning? Real quick.
10?
Yep, 10's good.
Okay. Okay, we'll get that, and then we'll get that sent to you, Dave, and then we'll go from there.
I'll send a call-in number.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Planning board, anything else jumping out at you?
Nope.
Nothing that I know of.
I got a map here, I think it came today, of a
Oh, yeah.
this is Roy, 4-unit, I forgot what it said here.
The 7943 number 4 Road West.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, what's that about, Sue? That came in the
Yeah.
mail to me also. It was this 4 Ridge subdivision.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, first, before we get into that one, anything else on,
The only
Canary.
thing The only thing I would say is, there's a lot, like we were talking about, there's a lot of questions. Do we think that all of this can be answered timely before the next meeting? Or is there any way for us to get answers well before that meeting? Because it's going to be a tremendous amount of material to cover.
Yeah, I agree.
And also, Sue, are we, before this goes to the county, no, I guess it can go to the county before we see it again. Yeah. We
Yeah,
should actually,
no, they'll give their comments, and if they have no issues, great, and if they have something that if we've got the answer for that, as long as we address it, we're okay.
right.
I think though, it's got to be presented as the 4-unit option though, in a sense, the worst case scenario.
Jamie, do you want to weigh in on that?
I mean, presented to the county as the 4-unit?
Yes.
That's fine. It can happen that way, sure.
Yeah,
We
along
just
with
have
the,
to, I will work with getting it over to the county in the right format.
Because that would entail for both ZBA and planning then?
Right.
Okay. Is this such that we can set a public hearing? And that's, it's set, we got the info, you can open it. That doesn't necessarily mean that all the answers would be answered the first day, or, we know with the deal with the time clock once we open and close public hearings. Thoughts?
mute. I have a question about the public hearing, Jamie. How does the public hearing work? If we're still doing Zoom?
Oh, just like this. It's allowed.
And so the public gets a Zoom invite?
It just goes on our website and the town website, and then and a Facebook if we have it. And the public invited to come on, just like they were tonight, though I didn't see any additional people on. But I have been at other board meetings where extraneous people are on. You never really know.
And they make comments?
Under the public hearing, and Veronica could maybe give a little info on that, is that there's like a public speaking, or there is a way that the public can speak when it's an appropriate time.
Yes, there will be a way to do it via Zoom. And yes, the public will be able to comment. It will be a little bit different than what we're doing tonight. There will be public, opportunity for the public to chat at certain points, likely at the end of the meeting kind of thing. But it will be a Zoom function, and also via Facebook. And then I think there will be opportunity for people to send in comments and such other ways too, via the website, etc.
So we probably would have to
voice
hold off.
and written.
Yeah, we'd have to hold off on a ruling, I would imagine, until we get all the comments.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure of that, but yes, probably.
Oh, what fun we're having.
I just wanted to point out on the Facebook page, there's comments.
Yes, there are a few comments coming in tonight.
Right.
But
Okay.
tonight is not, well, no, it's a public meeting. Yeah, it is a public meeting, right?
Yep.
But not,
Would we have it?
So how are the comments managed? Who manages the public when they call in or Zoom in?
There's a function on the Zoom, and we'll implement that next time.
Okay.
And we'll definitely do some test runs before we do it live.
We tested it today. I know we're perfect at it, but believe it or not, this was the result of the test run.
You're doing a great job, Jamie, driving.
Yeah, I think this meeting has gone very well. We did a board meeting recently, and it was, we are very new to it, and it did not go as well as this one's gone.
Well, we haven't said goodbye yet. That's the big problem with the Zoom meeting is saying goodbye.
Yeah. Okay, so
I think we still,
reeling this back in, can we set the public hearing date then?
I don't see why not.
That's fine.
So I'd like to make a motion to have a public hearing on the site plan, on the Canary Housing site plan, date specific of Monday, June 15th at, well, the meeting would start at 7 PM. Obviously, we have another public hearing on the agenda that evening. So that's my motion.
I'll second the motion.
And a second by Kevin. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Jamie, can you close that out of the screen now?
oh, I certainly can.
There we go.
There we go.
All right, are we done with Dave then, or?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, he'll be hearing from us within the next
Yeah.
couple of days. So he
Yeah.
can do what he needs to do, and hopefully we can wrap this up to where it needs to go.
Okay. Your question about the Ridge Road, that was sent out. I had a meeting with Bob, and at that meeting, it was determined because there were 2 parcels involved with that. Basically, it was a lot line readjustment, and it did not have to come before the planning board, and Bob is handling that.
Okay.
So I apologize for those things being sent out, but at first, a quick look, I thought that was something that we had to deal with. Bob's got that one. So
You have it back if you want it.
what's that?
No, Bob, you can have it. We don't want it.
Yeah,
I'll give it back. I'll be glad to.
that was a simple. Anything else from the planning board?
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Got places. Motion by Kevin, second by Carl. And John's coming back. All right, so motion on the floor to adjourn the meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Sue.
Good night.
Thank you all.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everybody.
All right.
So we go to over here.